Hi, everyone. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day so far. I've got Luke with me from Multiply Me. How are you, Luke?
I'm good. Thanks, Mina. Thanks for having me along again.
Pleasure. And as you guys know, I'm Mina, Baselyous, and I'm catching up with Luke today to understand more about what Luke does, his platform, and the reason why his platform came about. So, Luke, could you start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Can do, no problem. So originally out of construction, I was a carpenter by trade and spent many years in the building construction industry. Absolutely love it. That's where a lot of my passion still is. I had a big scaffolding company down in Melbourne, and that was construction and scaffolding. And that's really been my training ground to be in that industry for about 30 years now. And had plenty of staff, plenty of risk, plenty of good and bad times, which we can lead on to through the chat. But that's really my background. And through going through all of that, I was able to move into what I'm doing now, which is Multiply Me. And Multiply Me is essentially, a very easy way to describe it is that it's a YouTube for your business. And you think of the way you use YouTube to, if you want to learn something, you go, sweet, bang, straight onto YouTube, give me a video, and then you learn how to do that, and then you apply that.
So we'll go into that, Luke, please. Okay. But before we do that, can you talk to us about some of the recent changes, the legislative changes that have come about? Because I'm hearing various things, and something that you mentioned to me quite recently when we caught up about a week and a half ago. And also, I noticed in the news that there was some kind of protest or union activity outside one of the Bunnings stores. I can't remember if it was one of the Bunnings or a group of Bunnings stores regarding silica and work safe practices around education. So I'll hand it over to you to please go further into that and explain the situation.
Yep. Now that's an interesting one that's happened. So silica is a dust that is created when you cut products with silicon or silica in them. And silicosis is what forms. And my understanding is that it's very much like the new asbestosis. It's something that takes a little while to grow, but it's in the lungs, and then it creates breathing issues. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of products we use in the building industry that when cut, we breathe that dust, and we don't know whether it's starting, because I don't think you get the effects until a lot later, or the symptoms. So the Australian WorkSafe Australia, or the new legislation that's come in, which was only 2-3 weeks ago, is now that business owners are in the firing line for a 10-year jail term at a $1.8 million fine if they expose their workers to silica dust and they haven't met their duty to consult, as in training them, supplying safety equipment, and making sure they're very aware of when they're using these products and they have the right safety equipment. So they're really clamping down on the employers to make sure that if you're dealing with this stuff, it needs to be done safely.
Do you know at all if those penalties are turnover dependent, or if it's a general?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Okay, it will be something to look into later. But obviously, the figures are quite huge, and the jail time is substantial, right? I mean, it just highlights how seriously the legislators are now taking this, and rightfully so, because these are people's lives that are on the line, right?
Yeah.
So, can you talk to us more about what solution you have, and again, your experience and how it came about?
Yeah. Okay. So the solution that we have is we Multiply Me. And essentially, it's a video training platform. It's a very easy way to put it. But the videos are just a way we can communicate information to staff and customers faster than giving documents, which is what we've been doing for a very long time. And we're becoming more aware, especially in the construction industry and labouring kind of industries, is that not a lot of people can read, enjoy reading, or retain what they've read. And overwritten documents are put in front of people and said, read this before you get to work, and there's a tick, and the employer thinks they're safe. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for a tick and flick for an employer, you're not really taking care of your staff. So what we do is take this important information that could be in documents or wherever it is, and turn this into videos and allow the company to be able to, whether they're recruiting, onboarding, or just doing daily toolbox talks, they can use videos to do that. And it will share a very clear, consistent message that's been prepared, given to the staff member, and they can watch it, like I said, when they're recruiting, or they could watch it once a month. It depends on how you want to use the system. So being a digital piece of communication, it means that we can disperse it at any time, anywhere.
I think having a digital communication, digital training platform is very, very important. I think checklists and user manuals and all those things are fantastic, but they're overly detailed, and people don't want to spend the time to look at them. But I think they're still important. I think a great way to teach employees and to learn ourselves is to look at video, because you've got the audio, you can actually see what's being done. So you're more attentive, you're taking more things in, and you actually understand the steps by actually seeing them. Sometimes a user manual won't actually show you how you tie a particular bolt or how to make sure that railing is safe and so on and so forth. But when you actually see a video of the steps and someone actually doing them, it's vastly different. So I think video, along with checklists after you've seen the video to make sure that you're actually following the steps, is very, very important. I mean, one thing I try to do as much as I possibly can is actually educate my clients. So as you're aware, I've got a YouTube channel. And so I try to put out content that educates before something goes wrong. Yep. And I think being proactive is extremely important, because sometimes staff won't understand what needs to happen before it's too late. Yep. And so having a toolbox of different things, different videos, touching upon various aspects of business is very important. And by that, I don't mean just simply the safety aspects, but also how to speak with clients, with customers, right? Even the business owner, they can communicate, I believe, their vision, their mission, why their business exists. So I'll pass it over to you again to talk a little bit more about around that, please.
Yeah. So what you're talking about there is exactly, I haven't even talked to you about this yet, but we've created a new program, which is on the Multiply Me platform. So think of the platform as just a YouTube for your business where you can manage and deliver videos, but you can also create groups and share videos among specific people. So it's a lot more powerful than YouTube. But what we've done is created what we call knowledge boost videos. So you think of these like between 30-second and 1 minute videos. We've created hundreds of them, and they address everything from sexual harassment to ladder safety to, team camaraderie, looking after your mates, like just about everything that an employer needs to address with their staff. We are grabbing these topics, writing something between 30 and 60 seconds and creating a video. And these knowledge boost videos do exactly what they say in the title. They are to be shared with staff. Most people on our platform share them daily. We can set up the platform like a social media scheduler. So you go, okay, on Monday, I want these 2 videos to go to all my staff or just that group. So it's quite flexible in the way you can share the videos. But the good thing about the knowledge boost system is that we've made all the videos. They address some really important topics that businesses are probably not getting the time to talk to their staff. And then we set them up in a group, and the system just sends out 2 beautiful little talks to every staff member every day. And our members have created then a new culture in their business where they say, right, guys, when you work with our business, every morning you scan on or you go to your training account, which is on their phone, you watch anything that's sitting in your training account, and then you get to work. So this is like, we call it a pep talk. Like it's a pep talk and a pat on the back for every staff member, whether you can see them or whether they're with you or not. And that is massive, because that plays into an employer's duty to consult. Have you heard the term duty to consult? I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Yes, you mentioned it to me the other day.
Yeah. So every employer has a duty to consult. And what that means is we need to be consulting with the people we employ over anything that's to do with health and safety while they're in your workplace. And that is really everything from tripping over the step at the front door to, falling off a 10-story building. So everything that is going to be in their day.
What about, I don't mean to cut you off there, but you talked about health and safety. We spoke about the physical aspects of health and safety. What about the mental aspects of health and safety?
Yeah, that's huge. And half of these knowledge boost videos are about work-life balance, your own mental health. Like I said, there's hundreds but they're times changing, as we're all aware at the moment. And we're not just talking about how to do jobs. A lot of these knowledge boost videos are actually tips on how to keep people in a good, stable mental environment, whether it's tips for themselves or how to, collaborate with others. And I do know that in a couple of, I don't know the date, but it's within the next few months, there's new sexual harassment laws coming in, which employers will now need to be addressing, because they're very serious implications as well. And, employers, I just feel like employers are having to jump through so many hoops. And, there's so many sides, so I don't want to get into any sort of, difficult conversation with that one. But for me, it feels like employers are having to do a lot more than they used to, because there seems to be a lot more fires that could start. And that's exactly why these knowledge boost videos are there, because they address everything in the proactive sense, like you said, let's get in front of these things. And when you think about the videos, when they're delivered to the staff member on the platform, they have a sign-on page, they watch the video, you can put questions after it, you could put a quick, write down what you thought of the video, or you can have multiple choice, and then you can say, do you have any questions? So it's actually interactive. They can ask you a question on something in the video, and then you can reply back. So it is the closest thing to consultation without actually being there with them.
I believe you mentioned to me before, they can actually request certain material or topics. Is that?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So the term duty to consult, I go back to the term duty to consult. And when you're consulting with staff, it can't be done in a dictative manner. It's like, here's a video, you watch this, you must do that. No one's going to listen, and plus it's not going to create a very nice business. So the videos are never set up like, finger pointing, this is your stuff you need to learn. It's very open, discussion-like, and very informative, as in encouraging. But then it also, it asks if you've got questions. But what you actually asked was, can they request videos? Yes, they can. There's a section on the platform called the identify area, and people have described that, our members have described that as the modern day suggestion box.
Fantastic.
So if staff members have anything on their mind, pop the suggestion in and it goes to head office. And then we're seeing companies create videos based on what their staff members have asked for. And then that's, really build an inclusive environment and a really collaborative team who want to push the company forward.
Are there any anti-dictator videos on there that helps business owners to be more inclusive and ask and achieve buy-in from their employees to really grow the business? Obviously, that's a joke, but you could probably still talk to that.
There actually is some interesting stuff. A lady, Kate Osborne, she runs a company called Coco Matrix, and she works with some really high-level professionals. She's been a coach to coaches of a global coaching group. So she's been at the top of her game for a very long time. And we actually had a chat just a couple of nights ago because she wanted me to make a video about my leadership experience so she could share that with her community on her software, her Multiply Me software, to actually give them a story that they could possibly resonate with and maybe reflect on and say, okay, I'm doing some of those traits. Because my story that I shared was I was a bad leader. I actually had some really bad traits. So I was very raw and I exposed what all of those were, which was hard to do. But we're actually making those types of videos as well, Mina. So it's not just for staff to communicate. Sorry, it's not just for employees to communicate with staff. Our platform is being used by coaches to coach their clients as well.
Fantastic. Now, you've got many years of experience in business. How many years, roughly? Don't reveal your age, Luke.
No. I was going to say it changes because I actually started my first business when I was 6. So wow. And I really have to count that because I grabbed my dad's mower and I started pushing it around the village and I'd knock on doors and say, hey, can I mow your lawn? What's your price? Well, I think it was started at $3 an hour and then went to $5 an hour. And so I was in business. Like I had to find ways to make money because we had things that, we didn't get it from other places. So we had to be resourceful. And so if I count that, I guess there's like 35, 40 years worth of business experience in there.
Okay.
But yes, and most of it's been in construction. My dad was always renovating the house. So I had a hammer in my hand since I was, since I could hold one.
You caught the bug.
Yeah, loved it.
Caught the bug.
Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned business topics that are also covered. Do you mind just for a few minutes talking to us about those topics, the topics that you believe are important for a business owner to know themselves in terms of building their business, having a purposeful business, and also being an impactful leader?
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot, but there's a couple that just come straight to mind. One of the first one is just going to be support. How can you support your staff? And that goes through, that leads a lot into the mental health side of things, which has absolutely boomed in the last sort of 5 years. But support about knowledge about the tasks that they're doing, because people say there's no common sense, but it's because they just haven't been exposed to these types of tasks before. And now the big one that we're seeing, obviously silica dust is driving that, is support for what type of things are they dealing with in their workplace and what they need to be careful of. So and then safety is a massive one. There's safety on all sorts of areas. But even like there's one that we have in the topics called ergonomics of your workplace. Like even just setting up your workplace so it's comfortable for you. You don't have to sit in your chair all day and have a sore back or pins and needles in your legs, which is very common. So there's some good ideas and videos about just sharing with staff and make sure that you are not stuck in the one place all day. And then the other one is just culture. Culture's huge. So a lot of and culture comes with like teamwork, collaboration, being inclusive, a lot of those sort of talks as well. And when you think about these knowledge boost videos that are in these categories, they're just very short, sharp, powerful videos that are designed to just maybe flick a light bulb one day that says, oh yeah, I can apply that today. Or maybe I haven't been doing it like that. I can take something from that video and apply it to my day.
Could I ask you about culture, please? How you define culture, why culture is important, both for a safe workspace and a flourishing business, and even I would extend it to community and just looking after people around us.
So this word culture, I think, is very different for a lot of people. So it's a very good question because I think the answer is never the same. For me, culture revolves around probably the word care. It's like what sort of care, support, and what sort of character is being shown by, is being stated. But then what is the business actually doing? Is it in line with what they're saying? And when you have, businesses have a lovely website and maybe a promotion video that's slow moving and says, we are this and we are that. But on the back end, when employees come to that business and they see, oh, wow, this business is nothing like what we see on the mission statement at the front door or, that sort of thing. That's where I see culture is built from just what you say you're doing. And it is in a caring nature where everyone is included. And I think that's probably the best way. And my answer changes as well, but the word care always comes to mind. And as long as you're saying something over here whether it's, caring on a level 2 or caring on a level 10, it doesn't matter as long as it's what you're doing. And then you'll earn respect from the people in your workplace because you've basically done what you said.
Amazing. So just to quickly summarize, the Multiply Me platform is a training platform. It came about from experience, right? I mean, you went through a situation where you thought, I've got to be proactive about this. And can you touch up on that? Because I think that's a very, very important story. And it's a story that business owners can resonate with and really relate to, and drives home the message that training is vital.
Yeah, it's huge. So I gave a talk on this the other night to a room full of people. And I said, as a business owner, when you pull on your shoes in the morning, what comes with pulling on those shoes? What sort of responsibility do those shoes mean to you? And it was kind of just a way to go, okay, when you pull your shoes on, your life actually changes on that day. And for me, being in the scaffold company I was in, and I invented the scaffold product we had, I'd written all the training. I had trainers come in and deliver my training, but basically there was nothing in the industry that trained my guys to put up that scaffold. So there was a lot of liability, risk, and daily pressure that I put on myself. But during that scaffolding business, I did have there was someone electrocuted on a scaffold, and then I became part of that conversation. I was the director of that company, and it took 10 years to sort that mess out. So going through that 10 years of court appearances, gathering all of the evidence in my business that I had to prove my duty to consult, was I actually taking care of my staff, and why did this happen? What that experience taught me is there's 5 things you can do as a business. I learned this by seeing what the safety investigators are after, and then also the type of questions that were asked in court. So, and I call it the IDA mindset, IDDR mindset. So the first one is constantly be innovating or coming up with ideas in your business. That's the suggestion box on the software. Everyone's coming up with ideas. Constantly develop those ideas into something that you can deliver out to your staff. We develop the ideas into videos, we deliver them to the staff on the platform by video. And then you need to document that it happened. Otherwise it didn't. It basically didn't happen in history if you don't have a very bulletproof documentation system.
Having proof is very, very important. Yeah.
Yep.
Documenting everything, making sure people are aware, email communication, so on and so forth, vital. Yep.
And then the R from the IDDR is review. Whatever the idea was at the start and whatever you deliver to your people, it can get better. Over time, it can get better. So let's review that video, the document or whatever it was, and put it through the system again. How can we collaborate with the staff again to make it better, deliver it back to them? And just, that's the engine, the IDA mindset. If you have something like that running in your business, if your day comes where you need to demonstrate to a HR claim or an accident how you meet your duty to consult, you'll be in a very good position. Now, that's exactly what Multiply Me does. At the click of a button at any given time in your business, you could go, bang, here, Mr. Safety Inspector. That's how we organize our training, collaborate with our staff, and that's where all the ideas come from. It's an absolute beast of a machine because I've seen it in action. And over the last couple of months, we've actually had 2 of our members come to me and say, Luke, exactly what you said happened in my business. And I was able to shut it down like that because we've gone over and above with using your platform. And that to me was like the ultimate reward that someone can ever say to me.
Amazing. That's phenomenal. Thank you very, very much for your time. Is there anything you want to share with us quickly before we conclude?
Oh, look, maybe just a summary on the whole thing for like 30 seconds is
yes,
that, firstly, thank you for having me back on again. I think
absolute pleasure.
This information is really needed for business owners and this delivery method. And the fact that like training, I think is going to be the next 10 years to get through business. So if you're not investing in training at the moment, whether it's with me or something else, I think that's going to be, it's going to get harder and harder for you. Training and being able to train at the speed your business is moving, that's got to be on the top of your mind going into 24. And that's probably that's what I say to everyone is like, think about how you're going to keep people at your standard when the skills are dropping. How will you do that? And that's probably the question I would leave with most people's, who've watched the video. It's a big one.
Great, thank you. How do we reach out to you? How do we connect with you?
Very simple, multiplyme.com.au on the website, or luke@multiplyme.com.au is my email. And definitely very, very active on LinkedIn is my main social media.
Okay.
But yeah, jump on the website, can get in contact with me from there. And we've hit a really big up ramp lately. Our new knowledge boost system has got the attention of a lot of companies, big and small, from all trades. And we're taking on customers every day, every week at the moment. So it's super exciting. I'd love to share with more people.
Amazing, fantastic. I think you do an amazing job because you're also big on actually educating people. And it's not just about the platform, but it's about sharing your story and helping other business owners to grow too, and making sure that workplaces are safe. So thank you for your time again, and we look forward to seeing you on another one, Luke. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity to share the story. Thanks.
Thank you, Luke. Cheers.